Okay, Gene Burnett from GeneBurnett.com here. We're here today with Samara and Neil, both of whom are Tai Chi warriors, willing to do Tai Chi out here in the snow, although it's not as cold as it looks. It's actually, what, in the 40s?
It's a balmy 40.
It's a balmy 40. So, we're going to do 6 different ways of doing pushing hands. And the first division in those 6 is going to be choreographed exercises versus a free form. So the first way we're going to do this is you're going to go through the push hands repertoire, except I want you to have a conversation. Just chat about tango or about whatever's going on. This is where you're just running through the motions of the exercises, but you're also talking about, just matter-of-fact, everyday chatting type stuff. So ask Samara how it's been after the tango festival to recover or whatever.
It was awesome.
Yeah? Overwhelming?
Well, of course it was.
People, yeah.
Very overwhelming. But in a good way. I did. Jew, I think, is the only
Jew's
girl
great.
I can remember her name.
She's dancing with Derek in the image I used for the yoga tango.
So you can see they're having a conversation about stuff while they're doing their exercise. They're chatting about everyday stuff. Now, the pros of this is that you get used to doing these exercises while you're talking. You can keep talking. You get used to doing them while you're talking, so that you're not flustered by conversation when you're trying to be balanced, whether it's martial or everyday life. The downside, of course, is that you can't concentrate fully on what you're doing. So your mind is somewhat preoccupied with what you're talking about. So it has a plus and it has a minus. Now the next method, guys, is to you're still able to have a conversation. You're still talking, but you're only going to talk about things that are relevant to what you're actually doing. Like you can say, nice one, or oh, that's soft, or oh, maybe you might notice, make sure you're covering the elbow a little more, or make sure you got the joints covered, or a little more ward off here. So you're functional conversation now. You're only talking about what you're actually doing.
About how to switch sides and how I always forget. I think I just give you
One-handed push,
one
right?
hand
Yes.
like this, and then we've switched sides. Yes, I remember.
And do any of the exercises in the repertoire. You can also do walking if you want to, or whatever works. But now the conversation is strictly functional. Don't talk about anything else but what you're doing. Looks like when you finish, Samara, you could your hand is below your elbow in your ward-off circle, so drop your elbow below your wrist a little bit, right there. Yeah, and rounder. So make sure it's round and the hand is not lower than the wrist. I mean, the wrist is not lower than the elbow.
I was doing that too a little bit.
My elbows don't get lower.
We're not talking about that.
At this point, like where I'm at,
where Neil is.
Sometimes this happens as opposed to that.
So yeah, right now. Rounder? Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. So you see we're talking about what we're actually doing. Now you might have guessed what the third version is at this partner work, is where you don't talk at all, no matter what. So you want to, not only do you not talk, 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 but you also release the talking in your head as well. So try to just non-judgmentally do what you're doing. Now, of course, words and thoughts are going to come up. Of course, you're going to think nice one or bad one, or oh, I should do this or that a little bit differently. But try to just let it go. Don't attach any energy to it. I can hear every word you're saying. So just see if you can just let the words go. When they come up, just let them go right through you. If there's any judgment of good or bad, positive or negative, any kind of commenting on it, just do the exercise as well as you can. And you can transition into other ones if you like. Usually takes a minute or so, but you'll find your practice will start to deepen and quiet down. Your mind will start to settle a little bit, and you can become much more focused on exactly what you're doing than if you're chatting or if you're having functional conversation. So it's not so much about correcting, but just doing what you're doing as best you can. Okay, very nice. Now go to free hands and go back to having a conversation. So now you're doing more freestyle pushing, trying to off-center each other, but you're having a chatting conversation while you do it. So to talk about the tango festival or talk about the weather. That's awesome. How's the weather at your place, Neil?
Yes.
You get those pipes moving again?
Oh, yes. Actually, trying to talk, yeah.
Just make up some chatter.
Chatter? How'd you make that venison?
We haven't cooked the venison yet.
Well, I cooked it. I just Googled venison stew recipes, and I combined the top two ones that popped up. It was like a Betty Crocker one and a...
Did you have to treat it first to make it like creamy?
I soaked it in a little bit of liquor.
Soak it, okay.
And then the recipe, I like browned up some bacon and then sauteed up the venison in bath for just a little bit with some onions and garlic.
How long did you soak it?
This is a perfect
little
example. They're talking about recipes and stuff while they're doing their practice.
And then,
Perfect.
you
And
saute it.
What it does is it gets you in the habit of being able to keep your head, talk, and deal with the physical situation at the same time. But notice they're not going very deep with this. They're kind of, their whole practice just stopped because they're talking. Back at it, guys?
Yeah, exactly. We're cooking.
Yeah.
See, we just
So that's
totally
just,
wondered.
that's preparation.
I'm salivating now. It's so good.
Okay, so now the next step is the same thing. You're still doing free hands, but now you're functional. You could say nice one, good one. One thing I really like to do at this stage is like to,
For you to move your feet.
if somebody gets somebody, repeat it.
Oh, if somebody gets somebody.
If you get, well, I mean, repeat it so that the other person can learn. Yeah, a little bit, and sort of improve that.
I was waiting for you to step and you were hunkering down.
Yep, functional conversation.
Yep, that was...
And you don't have to talk. It's just if something occurs to you about what you're doing, then you say it, like, oh, nice one, or good one, or oh, wow, you really had me, or all that kind of stuff. But don't chit-chat, only about what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so they're noticing things about their shoulders, kind of redoing things or asking for a repetition of a certain movement to get a better feel for it.
Nice. This will help. Nice. That was great.
Right, so they're still doing free hands but with functional conversation.
Further than I wanted to. Like, whoa.
Okay, so now the last one is just like the choreographed one, and that is you're going to just do the free hands exercise. Try not to talk or comment or judge or any appraisal of what you're doing. Just try to have a non-stop, spontaneous conversation, one energy exchange after another. See how long you can go without commenting internally or externally about what you're doing. And if you do comment, you just let the comment go through your head and let it go right out again. Don't give it any energy. Don't stick to it. Don't feed it. Just keep on going and see if you can upset your partner's balance while maintaining your own. So you see there's something to be gained at every stage of this. The three basic ideas are to talk, kind of chatting while you go. Thank you, Neil and Samara. Sort of chatting while you go, so it gives you a sense of like you're touching base with the exercises, but you're talking. You're able to keep your mind on a couple things at once. Then you just restrict your language to functional communication, just about what you're doing. So that's a step towards settling your brain down. And then you have the, just complete immersion in the exercise with no talking at all, which enables you to go deeper, but doesn't let you kind of do that multitasking, kind of have your mind on two things at once a little bit. So I think those are great things to focus on sometimes as separate exercises, because sometimes we just automatically start chatting or automatically go into silence or automatically in between. So, and then you can apply that to both free hands or partner work. So thanks you guys, appreciate it very much. And if you like this kind of thing, subscribe to my YouTube channel or visit geneburnett.com.